we made a virtual production portrait booth.
We connected it to some VIVE trackers that would control movement of the robot, camera, lights in the environment, and a little bit of the background. Then it becomes a collaborative, really fun experience for everybody and not just one person.
The interface that we used was HTC's VIVE trackers. And so these VR trackers, you can move them around in space. Connected to Unreal Engine, it receives information of the new position and orientation of that VR tracker. And it works by having these two stationary devices called lighthouses. And the lighthouses send out a scan of light, basically a bunch of lasers that hit the VR trackers, bounce back, and use like a time of flight positioning system to have extremely accurate results.
The DMX portion of the booth was controlled by a VIVE tracker, and a user would hold the controller and then move in a different part of an axis, of an XYZ axis. And if you went one way, it would change to like red and green and blue, and it would go through the whole rainbow of an RGB scale. We
connected Unreal Engine to the ABB controller on our robot using a communication protocol called protobuf. Basically, we're using UDP comms with protobuf under the hood to communicate every 8 milliseconds between Unreal Engine and the ABB controller.
It's really interesting because this is the first time that I felt comfortable giving the user interface of a very large industrial robot to my 3-year-old daughter. And I was standing right next to her and I was not in fear. We essentially defined a sphere around a point where the robot could operate. As it got to the edges, it sort of got a little bit squishy. And then eventually it would just hit it and stop. What we said was, okay, we need a good place for the center of the sphere. We need it to be big enough to where the users don't feel limited by it. We said, okay, stay within this sphere and always look at this point. We can move the point if we need to. We can move the sphere if we need to, but stay within these bounds, and essentially the user could not break the robot.
The first time that I saw one of us using the VR trackers to move the robot around, it felt like magic. Once those types of people in the public get to use your system and have fun with it immediately, it validates everything that you do as an engineer.
It's just really exciting to see people use something that was once just up in here. Now you physically manifested it. It's right there. It's tangible.
When the first visitors came in, we saw their jaws literally drop, and we knew we had created something special.